Good evening and welcome to Extra Time at a slightly earlier time of 8 o'clock because, as you can see below me there, we are joined by from anyone's game. It's Graham and back from her transfer mission. Oh, I'm so pleased I did that right way the first time. Well, she's either been on a transfer fact-finding mission or she's been up Helvellyn, depending on who you believe. So I'll start with you, Laura. Laura, have you got the dossier on our European players, or did you find yourself up on top of a mountain?
Yes, I was keeping it quiet, but I'm the new director of football, so I've been working hard.
Oh, amazing! So you are ITK.
I am. I've took the weight off Eddie Howe's shoulders because I know he was finding it hard, so I swooped in, saved the day.
Amazing. And of course, Graham from Anyone's Game. Nice to see you as well. How are you doing? How's things?
Not too shabby. How are we all? Nice to be here again.
Well, how's the puppy? More's the question.
I mean, he's not crapping and weeing all over the house anymore. So that's golden. Like,
aye. So
all you need.
You need to finish doing that.
Yeah,
the whole house is house trained, I suppose.
Yeah.
And what is the little mutt's name?
Bailey.
Bailey. Who got to choose that?
Me. Named him after Bill Bailey, of course.
Of course, obviously. Yeah. Right, so loads to get into today. So this evening, thank you very much for those people who are joining us live. We thought we'd catch you out be a little bit early. So thank you to Fred. Good evening. I'll try not to put too many comments over your face there. Good evening to Tom, Marty. Marty's been missing you, Laura, definitely. So really nice to see Marty. And we've got the Geordie girl. The common Geordie girl. They all sound the same.
Wow, 2 minutes in and I'm
straight in there with some shade. Thank you. Right, great. So what a wicked start to our evening. Happy
Thanks
Friday.
for sharing that, Roger.
I know, yeah.
Last time I was on, I had black eyes apparently, and now I'm common as muck.
Yeah, well, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, some people just can't hold it back. You know what I mean? Right. So, yes, it's been a really, really busy week. Probably, I imagine those people who work at St James's Park and a little bit further afield, probably a frustrating week, I would imagine. We've had transfer rumours version 671,485,000. I don't know, and loads and loads and loads of stuff going on. So, I suppose, Laura, I know you're really on top of all the sort of European players who we're sort of been looking at, but I don't think we want to bore everybody with that.
No,
but I suppose the big one this week, it's gone a bit quiet today, was Jesse Lingard. Laura, what do you make of the links to Jesse Lingard? I know it's caused a lot of traction, and
I think
he's a good player. He would improve us, but what do you think?
I think it's a no-brainer. I think you'd be foolish to even, like, obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't see what what's that word? The
delay,
disadvantage? No,
yeah.
the problem with bringing him in would be, like, I don't see how anyone could have a problem or a reason to say no, kind of thing, because he would instantly improve with team. Yeah. He's got that winning mentality. He did brilliant at West Ham, but like you say, that there has been that delay, which I don't know much about. Is it because he doesn't want to come, or is it because Man U don't want to come, or is it the loan and the permanent?
He prefers the loan deal, but Man United want a permanent.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a deal there to be made. We're not one of their direct competitors, which is clear for everyone to see. The only other teams that are interested seem to be Tottenham, West Ham, clearly because he had such a good time there last season. So I think he instantly improves our side, doesn't he? So I think, like you say, for us, it is a no-brainer. For Man United, it should be. It's just trying to convince him. I would be a little bit hesitant about the loan situation and whether towards the end of the season, if things, aren't looking good, is he going to sort of put it, completely put it in for us if he's not going to be guaranteed that he's staying with us? Is he really going to want to put it in on a cold night in Merseyside or wherever, where I might be playing? I was going to say Stoke, but well, not playing Stoke City yet, but
not yet.
Not yet. We'll see. Just to go to a few of the comments. Yes, of course, Dave. Thank you. Yes, we will be on our best behaviour because we've been Raza and I got a little bit rowdy while Laura was away. So, but
Back.
was it when the cat's away, the mice will play. Judd really wants us to sign Lingard as well, and Tom as well. Big interest in Lingard as well. Evening to Lee, and yep, I think Scotty was probably hitting it on the head. He's keeping his options open. There might be an opportunity abroad for him. He might just want to, a complete change to get out of the UK. But I think the World Cup coming up should, he needs to be playing football if he wants to have a chance to get in the England squad. So as you might have seen on the Gallowgateshots channel, we were lucky enough to be joined by Keith from Sky Sports, and Chris had a really good conversation. One thing I'd like to chat with you about, and I'll start with you, Graham, is well, I know Laura's been installed as our temporary director of football, but should Laura decide to go back to teaching, at the moment we have a team that kind of comprises of, I'm sure it's not exclusively these people, but we've got obviously Staveley, got Murdad, Eddie Howe's involved, Steve Nixon, who's the head of recruitment, and that's it. Obviously, there'll be other people around that, but controversial opinion. I'm sure Graham, I don't think Graham will agree with this, but
I don't.
Could we have used a Lee Charnley in this situation? I know I'm going to get some comments here, by the way, but just purely to relieve Eddie Howe doesn't need to be doing two jobs at once, in my opinion. So did we maybe get rid of Lee Charnley a little bit too early? I know Keith had said something to that. He could have been useful at this time. Graham, please eviscerate me.
I don't think he could be useful at all. It was the right decision to get rid of him because he's useless. So it wouldn't matter what regime he was working under. He's just not very good at his job. He wasn't meant to be in that area anyway. He was a club secretary when he first started, so it's not his remit. I do think I love the new owners, but I do think they slipped up massively not getting a director of football in before January. And you need to have proper football people in and around transfer negotiations and things like that. If you've got no experience in it, like they don't, you're always going to have you're going to run into problems down the line, and I think that's what's happening. I think if we had a proper person in place, clubs pumping up the prices and stuff like that and being ridiculous, I think that we would have been able to get our way around it if there was a person in there that was experienced enough to deal with it.
Yeah, Laura, what do you think? Do you think is my Lee Charnley? Am I just taking a leap of faith here, or?
I essentially overall agree with Graham. I don't think he would have been any use. But what I was saying, just to see both sides, is it might have been interesting to see what he could have done, not with his hands being held by Mike Ashley. But I would like he said the other night, it was dead interesting listening to him. Like, he was shocked. Everyone was shocked that we haven't employed a director of football. And I'd like to know, like, why, because obviously they've interviewed people like Ashworth from Brighton, and that, I don't know how to say his name, that man from Chelsea. And like, why, we know they've interviewed them, so like, why hasn't it gone any further? Were they not impressed by the interview? Did the candidates change their mind? Like, I'd like to know why that has just stopped dead in its tracks.
Yeah, I think Adam brings up a good point about the director of football, obviously just being savvy when it comes to agents, like
play the game.
This is, Murhad and Amanda Staveley's first dance with, football agents, and they are going to play you, try and work you, and try and get as the maximum amount of money for their client and for them eventually for themselves as well. So I think maybe
they're going in like being a bit naive, because I think everyone would, if they haven't got any experience dealing with like agents and stuff, you would just think, oh, we can offer such and such and everything will be rosy. He'll come in and we'll look like amazing to the fans, but it doesn't work like that. Agents are there to be awkward and get the best for them, not necessarily for the player. Most of them are in it for themselves. So it is tricky for them, and I think you need
You need
should have been.
You need a canny operator, don't you?
Yeah.
One who knows all the tricks, has got those connections, who can make those links with people. But I do maybe think that they were in a position where they only wanted to appoint somebody who I've got a feeling that they don't just want to have somebody for the sake of having somebody. And short term, we're possibly going to pay the price for that. But longer term, which is what they've always talked about since they started, about this long-term vision, this long-term future that they want to have for the club, maybe we're just going to have to grin and bear it for now and see.
But then that may come back to bite them on the arse, because obviously this transfer window hasn't gone the way everybody kind of expected. So if we don't stay in the Premier League,
I think that this transfer window has been probably more difficult than previous Januaries. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is because everyone knows that we're minted, but it's just like, it's not us failing necessarily. It's other teams being incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think if we just look at it, maybe it's from the position of, if we forget, I know it's difficult, but if you forget the position we're on in the league, I don't know how many other teams have actually signed players yet. Yet we've got 2 in straight away, which normally we'd be hanging on until the arse end of a transfer window to sign. Well, he was linked today, but Hamza Chowdhury, for example, on loan.
Gone full circle, haven't we?
I think if we look at it, none of us have worked in a football club, and I played FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer when I was younger, and you could just
how dare you just assume that?
Oh yeah, sorry, you're a director of football, weren't you? Sorry. But it's not like Championship Manager where you can go on the editor and just sort of transfer your players over. I think it's obviously a complex, difficult thing to get done, and not many clubs, like I say, have done much business. So we're 14. No, how many days we're in? Oh no, it's 21 days. I've missed a whole week out. 21 days into it, we signed 2 players, and things are going to speed up towards the end of the transfer window. If we can get something tomorrow, things will look a bit rosier. Even a draw. I know we're in a perilous position. We need wins, but we've got that 2 week where we can not have to worry about whether we're going to lose a game in the time that we've signed another player. Maybe I don't know. So let's see. I think let's go to some of the comments though. This was an interesting one. Thoughts on the supposed bonus clause of winning the Champions League for the, I'm not even going to try and etiquette. I'm going to say etiquette. Phonetically plausible attempt there, Laura. Hopefully you agree with that.
I did. I noticed.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. But why did clubs do this, don't they? Laura, why do you think they sort of say these things and really reveal what might or may not be in clauses? Why do they do it? It's so annoying.
Well, now I'm going to have to ask you what that means, because I don't know.
What
that bonus clause for?
So the bonus clause was so the sporting director or the chairman or whatever you call it in France had said that when we made an approach for their 19-year-old starlet, I'm going to call him rather than saying his actual name because I can't actually pronounce it. They said that one of the clauses that we wanted to put in his contract is so we'll pay you 30 million up front, and then we'll pay another 10 if we do this, if we do this, if we do this. And one of those things was if we win Champions League, then you get an extra 5 million or a 10 million. So that's probably over the period of his contract, but so that's what they revealed. So why do you think, what does it benefit them to do that?
I've got no idea.
Why would you do that? Graham, any answers? Have you ever worked as a sporting director?
Yeah, I think it goes back to being naive. They're new to it. They don't. I think it was stupid to put that in, because if you see where we are in the league,
do you believe that? Do you believe that they've put that in? That's my question.
I do. I think it is something that they would do. Unfortunately, I just think they might have done it, and it might sound really good to them, maybe. And I just don't think they really thought about it properly. But yeah, you don't stick things in like that when you're 19th in the league and probably
Like
going to get
it sounds a bit
relegated.
like desperate, like
Yeah.
just clutching just at anything just
Aye.
to try and get them.
Yeah. Speaking as a man who's been desperate many times in his life, sometimes you will say anything. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think the feeling on the January transfer window. Eddie Howe's made his feelings clear and kind of agreed with Tom agrees with that about just being a nightmare. We're obviously rich, but the Premier League teams are a bit pissed off with us. But I do think when it comes to the final week of the transfer window, they'll be offering us players because they'll want to get players off their wage bill. There will be opportunities to make hay, and I think if we do have to pay slightly over the odds, then so be it. If it's going to keep us in the league, which is absolutely vital, which we'll come to in a few moments about how we're feeling about actually staying in the league, but we shall see. Now, I've been given it. Right, he's called Eki TK. Eki. Thank you very much, Tom. Etikite. Ooh, nice name. I like it.
Just try saying that when you're drunk, eh?
Trying to get into was it? No, I was going to say Alvino's. What's that bar down the quayside? Avika. Oh, I'm one of Etike's pals. You know what I mean? Like funny lads. So we'll see. And Lee, think next week will be mental. Yeah, I think we can all fundamentally agree with that idea. Okay, so transfer window, bosh, done. Agents, done. Speaking of agents, really quickly, apparently Miguel Almiron has an $80 million, which equates to about £59 million release clause. Will anybody be, will Burnley be coming in for Miggy to try and hurt one of their rivals? Oh, aye.
I'd give him a piggyback down there, like.
Yeah, it's like
sorry everyone.
That is another weird one. So weird. We're going to come to, obviously, there's been announced that they are going to go to Saudi, which was a little bit, controversial. And again, it kind of highlights us again to the press and to the media and everybody around who's got an opinion about Newcastle. What I suppose we might as well touch on that now. So since it was Scotty who has brought it up. So what do we think about the trip to Saudi? Initially from a political point of view, but then from a team point of view. Obviously, we haven't got a game, so
it was always going to happen, wasn't it? I mean, if it didn't happen next week, it was going to happen in the summer or next season or whatever. It was always going to happen. So I don't see any issues with it. The press, other fans are always going to slag us off for things beyond our control as supporters, but really, yeah, it's fine. It's fine by me, and if it gets the lads together and gets the chemistry built up, and then we go on a little run afterwards, then bollocks to it.
Laura, would you fancy a couple of a week and a bit in Saudi? Would that be up your street, do you think?
Nah, not up my street. But like, I agree with Graham. It makes no odds to me. I'm not too fussed. But the only thing I would say is they said they weren't, and now they were, and it just again looks just a bit weird. Like, right, we're not gonna go. Right, okay, we are going. Like, well,
I think maybe that might have been down to visas because they need to get loads cleared, don't they?
Right, okay. Yeah. But yeah, like Graham says, if it makes the team a bit more together and helps them, then
I think anything that things aren't necessarily working in terms of results at the moment, so a change is as good as a rest or whatever you say. I'm sure there's a cliche out there.
It's not, like Graham said, it's no shock to anyone. They were always going to go there. That's where we're owners are. So
yeah, that's true. That is true. So it looks like from Eddie Howe's press conference, Fede Fernandez, I know a few people were tweeting and probably saw the pictures of him with that. What was he doing? Them ropes, Laura? You're a gym person. What them ropes called?
Battle ropes.
Battle ropes. Come on,
Of course, they're called battle ropes. I didn't actually
think you would know the name of them. So.
No, I use them every time in the gym.
Do they work?
Don't know.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
the way I do them.
No, are you doing them side to side like an
No,
octopus? Or
I get wrong for not doing them properly. So no, I'm not.
what's the correct? Do you have to squat?
Squat, and yeah.
With
I don't know.
down?
Sometimes you have to do like burpees in between each one.
Burpees?
They're not pleasant.
That's what you do with a bear when you slap one on the back.
Yeah.
No?
You can tell I'm a real gym goer.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, strong like bull. Yeah, manly man. Aye, right, all right. So yeah, so some people have got their hopes up, but it looks like those.
No, I put them in my starting 11 the other day.
It looks like, unless I'm completely wrong, which
No, I've seen
happens quite often. Looks like he's been poo-pooed. So it looks like potentially we have the same starting 11 as what we had against a Watford team who, by the way, that Watford team have got nothing to like about them. You know, usually when you watch an opposition team, there's something like a player that you like, or like a way that they play, or like that determination. But like, I sat through that game and there was absolutely naught to like about that Watford team. Like, supporting Newcastle's hard enough, but I mean, following them up and down the country must be painful. Absolutely painful. Anyway, there's my 10 pennies in. But speaking of 10 pennies, Laura, we might as well get on to Allan Saint-Maximin, because I know he's caused a bit of consternation with some people for his performances as of late. For me, not so much consternation, but these types of players are going to go in and out of form. But I'll hand you the floor, Laura. Allan Saint-Maximin, take it away.
It's not so much a rant, and I am about to be quite fickle and change my opinion, because I put a tweet out last week straight after the game. It was in the heat of the moment. I was so cross. I was so annoyed. So I was sat in the pub and I was like talking to my dad and his mates, and I was like, Maximum just boils my blood. Like, it just does me head in. Everyone around me, the vibe was impatience, and I wasn't saying he was shit, and I was very
impatient with you, or impatient with Allan?
No, not me. Not me. The vibe around us was like impatient with him not tracking back. There was a moment in the game when he was in the Gallowgate corner and a Watford player flicked him like that, and he stayed down for ages when they were on the break.
Yes.
And it was
I remember.
so frustrating, and I was very careful with my words. I didn't say he was shit. I said he frustrates the life out of us.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I did say he did score. And after hearing a few of the lads on the podcast, like, Decker feels very strongly about it, and I know. And I don't know if, like, I know there was a lot of tweets about him, but I felt like Decker was like having to go at me a bit, because it was me that I put a tweet out as well. So I have changed my opinion slightly, and I do think it is unfair that we are picking him out. But the only reason we're picking him out is because he's our best player.
Yeah.
And I understand that totally. He is our best player. He creates the chances. He can take the men on. He scores our goals. If it wasn't for him, we would have had less points. I get that. Yeah. And it is the expectation there. And I think the rest are shit and he's good. So all our hopes rely on him. And that's why he frustrates us so much. So more signings will relieve that pressure. So I really am hoping that we can do that. So basically, in summary, I don't think he's shit. I don't want him to be dropped. But I wish he would work for the team a bit more and track back a bit more. Be more in my dad was saying, like, more in a free role rather than giving him a job to do, because he's stubborn. He's not going to do that for the full 90 minutes. So just give him more of a free role. Yeah. And then we'll see the best.
Graham? Allan, what's up with Allan for you? Where do you sit on this one?
I think he is going to frustrate the life out of you, but if he is scoring and he's assisting, you can't really argue. He's still making that difference, but there is a lot of pressure on him because he is the only one in that side that is going to make a difference at the minute. So there is a lot of expectation on him, and it must be quite hard for him to go out and be like, right, I'm the only one that's going to have to do this today, you know? So I think he can be forgiven for not pressing, for not tracking back, because there's an awful lot of weight on his shoulders to go up the other end of the pitch and make a difference. So he's doing it, and that's all you can ask. So
I think for me, he helps us and he hurts us in the same sentence. You know, he is our attacking threat. He does draw players out so other players can be available. I think really the responsibility is on other players to step up. You know, Joe Linton's got a lot of good press and he's got a lot of good coverage and he's even got a flag in the Gallowgate now. But I think for me, you know, he needs to start now adding a goal or two here and there, because you can improve your play to a certain point, but he looks like he can push on and, you know, he's shooting more and he's getting more chances. So I think players like that, we need players from within the squad to become more of a threat. So I'm expecting Chris Wood to be more of a threat. We isolated him towards the end of the game against Watford and that was criminal really. But I think you're right. For me, he's got to be in the team. As frustrating as he is, he's exactly like Ginola was frustrating. Robert, I think Robert was a bit more consistent. Ben Arthur, you know, on his day, world beater. We missed out on him as well. We could have had two of them. You know, could have two threats. Imagine carrying those two players in my team. The internet would have went bonkers, absolutely bonkers. I think. So yeah, I think the more that hopefully we get some signings in and Allan Saint-Maximin has that pressure relief, but he's a necessary evil, we're going to say.
Got to take the good with the bad, I'm afraid, with him.
Exactly. You've got to take it. So, Laura, very quickly, because I know you're a big fan. He was on the picture of the podcast.
Was the name of the podcast deliberately for me because I'm a big Westlife fan?
Yes.
Oh, I missed
Crying
that.
Without Wins. Crying Without
that.
Wins, Ali. It was going to be Plummet or Dummett. But then Mark had said, he didn't say Crying Without Wins, or he said Flying Without Wins. And then I was like, Crying Without Wins. So, or something like that. So it was a bit organic. So yes, Crying Without Wins, Laura. Because you were making your return, I thought we best reference Westlife, because whenever you're going to get the opportunity to do that, you know, for such an uptown girl, I don't know any of the Westlife songs. Favorite Westlife song?
Hopefully we won't be the fool again.
Oh, boom! Yes. There we go. Graham, favorite Westlife song?
I'm afraid I'm really, really not a fan, so I don't have one.
In a seamless transition, which we're used to. Today we lost an absolute musical icon, probably up there with Westlife, I would say. In Meatloaf, absolute legend. I remember years ago he was playing a gig at Newcastle, and I think he had to cancel for some reason, and then he appeared at St James's Park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he came to St James's Park, had the shirt on.
He got fans to take penalties against him.
Penalties at him.
Wow,
And
so
he
had
had
Meatloaf, Jason Donovan. Wow.
One Direction during the party.
Oh yes, and the training.
Yeah. Hey, you know, is there any is there any musical star who's not? Maybe it's Adele. Adele's not going to be doing any gigs in Vegas. You know, she could come down and, you know what I mean? So she could sing to the opposition and say, "Take it easy." Anyway. So, you know what? Chris is going to cut that, isn't he?
Nah.
He's going to cut that into a meme, isn't he?
I thought you meant cut it out. I was like, on my life.
No, he's not going to cut it out. He's going to put it into a meme. Anyway, yes. So, we're on favorite songs. Laura, favorite Meatloaf song. I know you're a massive fan. So,
I only knew two. No, I only knew two, and then you reminded us of the third one. What was that third one you said?
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yes, and I only know that one because my friend sings it on karaoke in the post office in Baker. So it reminded us. But no, my favourite's Bat Out of Hell.
Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
Force of Nature. Thanks, Davey. I wonder if Davey's still in Tenerife. I bet you Davey's been up on the karaoke in Tenerife singing a few Meatloaf songs at his time. Graham, do you have a favourite Meatloaf memory? And I don't mean like Thanksgiving Day. I mean the actual music.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light is my favourite. But he was amazing. Loved him.
Yeah. I like 2 out of 3 in bad. You know, I'm a bit melancholy because I'm a Newcastle supporter, so I do like that one. Don't be sad. 2 out of 3 in bad. Anyway, so all the important. See, Graham, this is what we get on Extra Tyne. We'll cover all the important. We'll call Westlife, Meatloaf, like, you know, anything else you want to cover. Absolutely no problem. So Let's just strike that off my list as well. There was a couple of questions back. I do apologise for the person who did ask it, but where do we sit or stand or lie or crouch or burpee on relegation at the moment? How are we feeling? Are we plummet or are we dummit? I don't know what the link is there, but Laura, what do you reckon? Are we gonna stay up, or is it gonna be a heroic failure?
I think I've accepted defeat now, and I know I don't even think that's pessimistic. I think it's just realistic of where we are. I would be gutted, don't get us wrong, but I wouldn't be absolutely like I would be a few months ago, before the takeover. I mean, it would take an absolute miracle. We're not beating the teams we need to beat, so
yeah.
I think it's done.
Graham?
Yeah, I agree with that. I was actually really confident up until Watford. Mm-hmm. I said if we beat Watford, get out the bottom three, then we're laughing. But to concede so late on as well, to me that was a nail in the coffin, I think. Yeah. But I think relegation is probably going to be good for us in a weird way. Get rid of all the deadwood and we can just rebuild. It's going to add a couple of years onto the project, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, when you say getting rid of the deadwood, I mean, I think, are those players that we would consider deadwood good enough to get us out of the championship? Do you know what I mean? No. Are your Matt Ritchies, those types of players?
They're just
because are we going to sign players who are of equal ability to those that, Dwight Gale might be useful next season if we are in the championship? You know what I mean? And then if I mean, if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bang its arse when it jumped. But if we did get promoted, then will be the time to maybe get rid of some of those players. But I think
if you look at this, they've been at the club for such a long time now. Some of them haven't played for donkeys. They're just not for me. They need shipping out.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I go one morning we're getting relegated. Next morning I'm like, no, I think we're going to do it. But I think there's still a chance. There is still a chance, and while there's hope, we can dream. And we might do it. No, everybody had written off Leicester at this point in their season, and they went on a ridiculous run where they beat Liverpool. They beat, and people would have, they would have been absolutely laughed out of town for saying they're going to go on. I think they won 7 on the bounce. And that is possible with this group of players. Is it possible with the recruitment? Is it possible? Who knows? But we're not dead yet, so let's keep the faith, brothers and sisters. I don't think. So acceptance. I'm gonna go with defiance. I'm still defiant that we'll stay up, but we'll see. So I think we kind of covered a lot of the things that we were going to say, and now we'll come to our blatant. Now I'm going to hold my hands up. This is a blatant rip off of another podcast, but
no, it's not.
Might as well own it. I might as well own it. So I had a little brainwave this morning, which doesn't happen very often, and I thought we'd do a little top 10. Look at our January transfer business from the last 10 years. Not including Trippier and Chris Wood. We'd look at, the last 10 years in the existence of, well, I suppose it has been an existence of Newcastle United, as to the players that we've signed. And we picked out 10 players that we thought were worthy of discussion. And we came up with our individual lists of top 10s. And I've got a few messages on Twitter as well, which I really, really appreciate. So anybody in the comments, if you want to put your top 10 in, that would be really interesting to see. Or maybe put your top. We would do 10 to 6, which is my idea.
Now that's blatant. Now,
yeah. Or should we do 10 to 5? Just to be
all right. Yeah, change it up.
No, we'll do 10 to 6. I don't care. I'm not bothered. You know what I mean? Content's content, innit? You know what I mean? Right. So, we'll go 10. We'll go 10 to 6. We'll say what we've said, who we've chosen, and then we'll kind of discuss, and we'll see if anybody's got people in similar positions. I'm going to try and keep track of who said what, where, why, and when.
Can our Bogsy not going first?
Oh, Bogsy, classic word.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
Oh, I forgot there's a bit of controversy around that word.
Bogsy, Bogsy, I
There
think.
is.
Bogsy Fogs. Bogsy Fogs, get on that, young'un. Who?
What do you say,
so,
Graham?
Graham,
Bagsy?
Graham,
Bags?
as you are the guest. Oh, yes, are you Bogsy or Bagsy?
I'm Bagsy.
Bagsy, yeah.
You're wrong.
Now, just before we get started,
All right.
Leeds jumped in there with Fabrice Pancrat, but Pancrat wasn't actually born in the transfer window. He was a free agent and he was bought later.
Oof.
So he doesn't make it, but he would have been outside of the. And I think, is that not outside of the 10 years, possibly?
I really panicked there because he was nowhere on my list.
I mean,
No,
he only had one.
I give you the
good
10 names, though, didn't I?
I know, but I just panicked there when I seen that name. I was like, whoa, have I misread that?
Don't panic, Laura. Don't panic.
Okay.
It's fine. Right. So, let's see what we've got. So, Graham, as our welcome guest this evening, I'm gonna ask you to go first. So, from 10 to 6, who have you got? We'll go GB, LTE, and RTB. Right. Come on, Graham. Who are your 10 to? Who's your 10 to 6? And then
Okay. Number 10 is Sissoko. 9, Debussy. 8. I'm trying to memorize this because I was a late transfer in this
he was
show,
late.
by the
It
way.
was a very last minute addition.
I'm gonna say, what am I up to? 8.
You've got 8, 7, and 6 to go.
I'm gonna say 8, Haidara, because
Haidara?
He wasn't on the list.
He wasn't on the list.
Oh, sorry.
Do you mean Gouffran? Possibly.
Go on, yeah, Gouffran. Sorry, he wasn't on the list. 7 is. This is difficult, man.
Feels like X Factor.
It's X Factor. Who's number 7?
That was really good and scary, by the way.
I used to do people's voicemails in the Bellevue.
Oh,
Yeah, I think. Have I not done your? No, maybe it wasn't you, Laura. I'm sure I've done one of your mates' voicemails. It was like, if you can't get to the phone, leave a message. Yeah,
this is ringing no bells.
Oh, that's put me right off now.
Anyway, right. So we've got Sissoko, Debussy, and Gouffran.
I'm gonna have to ask them.
That's a proper party piece.
I don't know where I am anymore. I think
you're in a safe space with the guy from X Factor.
My mind's gone blank now.
Right, I'll go to Laura. I'll come back to you.
Thanks.
Right, come here, Laura.
Right, 10 to 6. Right, Gouffran 10.
Hold on.
Harsh.
Yep.
Just personal opinion. I asked
Right.
no backlash.
You forgot his name, so don't you be piping.
No,
up
I
the box.
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Sorry.
Don't you be coming on here.
Right,
Giving it
coming
the
on
big
here.
end.
I'm gonna go to Laura.
Yeah.
Attitude.
She's been up Helvellyn for 2 weeks. Right.
For charity.
Laura, Gouffran, number 10.
Gouffran 9. Miggy. 8.
Yep.
I'm regretting this one, so zip it. Townsend 8.
Right.
7. Shelby.
Yep.
6. Sissoko.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Mine is Sissoko 10, Gouffran 9, John Joe Shelby 8. And Aaron Townsend. What was his first name again?
Andros
Townsend 7, and Miggy has made it into 6. So, Graham, have you decided upon your 7 and your 6?
Yeah,
yet?
sorry. I'm gonna move Gouffran because I think he's harsh. Right. Miggy, number 8.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
Ooh. Townsend 7.
Yep.
And Shelby 6.
Okay. Right. So, all of us have got. We'll go with Sissoko first. I've got him at 10, and Graham, you've got him at 10 as well.
Yeah.
I know my reasons, Graham. What quickly on your reasons for Sissoko being at number 10 there?
My reasons are he didn't give a shite and he played 2 good games out of 20.
Yeah. for me, it's expectation when he came. I mean, for one point, if you look at how much we paid for him, if you just I think somebody had a really good question on Twitter about, well, what metric are you using? What you're judging him by? Like, if it was purely by value for money, we sold him at a £30 million profit, so that is good business in a sense. But 1.8 million, we thought, all right, okay, that seems like a good deal for any player, even back then, which wasn't that long ago, really. And he that first game, he absolutely ruined Ashley Cole's career. And then it was kind of a steady decline there with a bit of a jump up at West Brom, where he scored an absolute worldie. So frustrating, gutless. Couldn't get out of the building quick enough when we realised that the poo-poo had hit the fan. So, for me, that was why he was up there. Laura, you looked at him slightly more favourably. A quick summary as to why I've got him in 6. Why did you put him there?
I didn't like 7, 8, 9, 10 more.
As good a reason as any. Right. So, Laura, you and I both put Gouffran quite high up or low down, depending on how you look at it. You've got him at 10. I've got him at 9. I do appreciate he stayed. He came in for a low fee and he stayed with us in the championship, and he's useful in terms of where he played. But Laura, what was it for you that was Gouffran?
Yeah, that's what I've said. I've said first season good. McLaren very, very bad. Rafa not too bad. Did a job, but overall, didn't like his attitude. I didn't like him personally. That's why he was down there.
Bit of a controversial one. We'll come to him. He's a current player, Miguel Almiron, the $80 million player, the $80 million man. Oh my God, he's like Steve Austin. Ask your parents. I bet you Marty will get that reference, I would imagine. So I had him at
Steve Austin, the wrestler.
No, he was. There was a 70s TV show. I think it was the 70s, maybe 60s, called The $1 Million Man, and the guy's name was Steve Austin.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go. A little history lesson for you, lot.
Learn something every time.
So I had him at 6. Laura, you had him at 9. Graham, you flip flopped a little bit, but eventually you settled on it. So I'll let you guys take the floor. Laura, Miggy.
Yeah, I just think he's the guy that we all wanted to come good because he's just so nice. But personal aside, overall, he just hasn't brought enough to the team.
The place. He's not delivered.
Yeah, no.
Yes. And for 21 million as well.
Yeah, exactly. High price. Nowhere near.
You the same reasons as Laura?
Yeah, pretty much. He's just not delivered, has he? Everyone says, oh, yeah, he runs around a lot. But, what's that going to do for you?
Yeah.
Nope.
I think I wouldn't let him go necessarily, because I think in a better squad, because 20 million for a player nowadays in the upper echelons of the Premier League isn't a lot of money. So he could be a useful player to have because he'll come on and implement a team. Like he'll do his job, is what I'm probably trying to say. He'll do his job rather than Allan Saint-Maximin, which we talked about before. Like, he won't follow instructions because he's a creative, he's an intelligent player, whereas Almiron's a very, he'll do what you've told him to do. He'll train hard, he'll work hard, he'll stay fit. So that's why I kind of had him in the 10 to 6, but I didn't think he deserved to be up there, but can't argue. Another current player, Shelvey. We've all got him there or thereabouts. Graham, you're 6. Laura was 7. I had him 8. My feelings on John Joe Shelvey I've made very clear, so I'm just going to, and he has improved recently, although he hasn't really torn up any trees. But Graham, you've got him at 6.
Yeah.
40 million paid for him. Do you think we've got value for money there?
Probably not. I think inconsistency is always been a thing for John Joe. There are times where he's an absolute genius, and that's why he's a little bit further up in my list. But that's it. Yeah.
Laura, John Joe, JJS, which confused a few people on Twitter.
Did it? I got that off.
Yeah, actually, a couple of people were like, I don't remember JJS, who trying to work out who he was, and because I can't be bothered, right? John Joe Shelvey or Shelby, just JJS. Laura.
Yeah, a bit like Graham. The inconsistency couldn't get him any higher. I think he does, when he's on his game, he can bring that creativity and that pass and that wonder goal every now and then. But he doesn't deserve to be any higher than where he is in mine.
Yep. A quick one on Townsend, because I'm going to come to Graham with Debuchy in a minute. So Graham, get yourself ready for that one. Townsend, we had a really good comment. I think most people, Townsend's hair was the greatest comeback since Lazarus. Yeah. That just shows the pain of playing for Newcastle United. You just lose your hair rapidly. I mean, Graham, when he started first supporting Newcastle, Graham, you had a fine mullet and you had it all going on.
Yeah.
And now, it's all dripped down and it's just sort of on your face.
I just stuck it on my face instead.
Remember them magnet things?
Yeah.
Aye,
that is just me in human form.
The iron filings. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Laura, it's probably a bit before your time. I don't, did you ever have one of those?
What was it where you put your face on the iron filings? No?
No, you're thinking of the pin things, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
No, this is it was like, you probably got them at Blackpool. It was like a piece of paper like this, and it had a man's face or a woman's face. And it had like a plastic sheath over it, and you had a little magnet. And the iron filings, you dragged them to give them hair or a mustache, and the iron filings would follow the magnet, obviously. Because
like not an abacus. So what's things that kids have now?
An Etch-a-Sketch.
Etch-a-Sketch.
No, not like it was.
No.
You had to literally do it with your hand.
All right,
Like, pull it around.
not a clue.
Anyway, so that's Westlife, that's Meatloaf, and that's iron filing metal face thing covered. So yes, so Graham, I did say, Townsend, I do remember when he signed for it. I've got him at 7 because I thought he did actually do a good job for us. We got relegated, which was a nightmare, and he did leave under a bit of a cloud. He wanted to get in the England squad, and then that kind of went tits up for him. But he was effective when we had him, and I think more players like that when we might have stayed up, but I think it was possibly a little bit too little too late, which I hope isn't going to be the case this season. Laura, I think, well, we've all got him in a similar place. Similar reasons, Laura?
Yeah, I'm just going to be honest, and he just doesn't stick out in my mind like the other players, so I didn't.
Yeah. Graham, for you as well?
Yeah, I don't think he was here long enough to have him that high, to be honest.
Yeah. For me, for Townsend, my memory of Townsend was Vicky was given birth in Amsterdam, and it was taking a while, which I'm sure she'll thank us for saying. And so I was like, "Oh, babe, shall I head home and get the laptop, so you can watch something?" She was like, "Oh, yeah." So scooted down to, we're living in Amsterdam at the time, so scooted down to the house, came back with my laptop. Oh, Hez goals. Oh, Newcastle playing Crystal Palace. Oh, brilliant. So I've got a picture of Vic she's lying in bed and watching Newcastle. I'm massaging her feet, I think, or something like that. So, and he scored a free kick. That's basically why I'm saying him. Anyway, so I can't wait until I get home if she's watching this, and I can't wait for that conversation. Woo! Right. So, by the way, I'm in the studio tonight because my daughter's having a.
I was going to say she'll not be watching this.
Yeah, so she's having a play date, and I went into the playroom just before I left. I was like, bye, Connie, I'm away, and a little friend and that. And a little friend went, "Why are you wearing that hat?" And I was like, and I went in a really infantile way. I went, "Why are you wearing that dress? She had a princess dress on." I know, Shan, aren't I?
You used to be a teacher.
I know, and she went, "'Cause I'm playing," and I was like, "Ah!" And she went, and she looked at me hat, and she was like, "It's not summer," and I was like, "Ah, damn it! Foiled by a child again." You know what I mean? I was absolutely booming when I left the house. So I picked the wrong battle there. She absolutely outwitted us and outdone us. So, but yes, I do like to wear, and I'm getting my hair cut tomorrow at Paddy's place. So
I was going to say, it's I hope Paddy's doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's Fiona's doing it, so just get me that straight. Right. So anyway, we digress as usual. So so Graham, really quickly, Debuchy, you've got him quite high up, low down, depending on how you look at it. Number 9, Debuchy, signed for 5 million. Why have you got him up there?
I just didn't like the bloke, to be honest. Sorry. I just didn't think he was that consistent. He did my head in. So
yeah, he started really well, and he looked like he was going to be a great right back. I mean, he's probably what was he right? He was a right back, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll correct us, but he's probably our best right back, in my opinion, since up until we had Trippier, really, in this sort of more recent era of like Danny Simpson, and I can't think of any other right backs that we've had. But yeah,
Yedlin. Put some respect on Yedlin's name, for goodness sake.
I would say he was better than Yedlin, like.
Yeah, me too, but just saying.
All right then. so aggressive.
What do you expect? I support Newcastle, man.
Right. So, very quickly, I don't want to leave out anybody in here. So we've got Fred, he's got 10 Gouffran, 9 Kennedy, which we'll come on to. You know what, Laura? I picked that because I knew he'd be upset about that. But maybe he's thinking about the second when he came back the following season.
How could you forget about the second spell?
Yeah, that might.
I've ignored it. It's been wiped from my memory.
Miggy hasn't worked for the team. Miggy's a greyhound from Dan. Doesn't have the right stuff for this. Oh, the right stuff. There's New Kids on the Block for you. There's another reference that Laura probably doesn't get. Yeah, man. Kind of beat a bit of new NKOTB. Brilliant. Next one. I don't think getting promoted will have Shelby next year. He was the best player on that team. Yeah, I think that's good. Has anybody else gone with any of their 6s, 10s to 6? Debuchy was a French right-footed Santon. Can he going forward? Couldn't really defend. Ooh, Debuchy was better than Yedlin, but Yedlin was a better servant to NUFC. Okay, so sorry if I've missed anybody's comments out there. I'll try to get through as many as possible. So I know, Graham, you've got some stuff to do at 9 o'clock, so I am trying to go quick. So
it's all right. I've got a few things, like I can delay it a little bit, but it's fine.
Good, man. Right, so let's go 5, 2, 1. So I think I predict who everybody's one will be, but we'll see. Yeah. So Laura, I'm going to go with you. 5.
I'm a bit worried now.
3, 2, 1. Let's go, Laura. Number 5.
Debuchy.
Yep.
Kennedy.
Yep.
Willock.
Yep.
Dubravka.
Yep.
Cisse.
Yep. Oh, Laura.
Exactly the same.
Synergy. Exactly the same. That is unbelievable. So I've got Debuchy, Kennedy, Joe, Dubravka, and Cisse.
Yes.
I think in many ways they pick themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, for us, maybe, but there you go. Hey, maybe we'll start, we'll start like menstruating at the same time. Who knows, you know? You know when a thought pops into your head?
It's all right. We can edit it out. It's fine.
You think it's live, so it just that just happened. I can't believe I just said menstruate. I can't believe I just said that. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna have such conversations when I get home. Oh my god. I do hope Vicky's not watching this.
She's not watching this, don't worry.
She's not texted us yet. So anyway. Right. So Graham, moving on quickly.
Okay.
Let's go.
God.
What are yours? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Kennedy.
Yep.
Willock.
Yep.
Dubravka.
Yep.
I need number 2, don't I?
Oh, you've got a dodgy
one. Who are you missing? Yeah.
No, who am I missing?
You are missing.
I know Cisse, but he's going to be number 1. So
yeah.
Who am I missing?
Mate, you've just put Sissoko at number 2. No, you haven't. You put me number 10. 10. So you've got him. You've got
Gouffran.
Yeah, Gouffran.
Oh, Gouffran number 2. Yeah. Wicked.
Wow. Do you want to maybe put him at 5 and move everyone down 1?
No, I don't. You know what?
Are you happy with your decision? Are you locking it in? Are you sure?
You're locking it
in.
What's that off
I'm locking this in, I'm not in some kind of game show, but...
That is off a game show. Which one?
Right.
I'm locking that in. That's your answer.
I don't know what that is in. But anyway, yeah, he was an absolute workhose. I don't agree.
Oh my God! You're absolutely screaming the barrel.
No, wait.
No,
wait. Stick with it.
I don't agree with Laura and his attitude. I thought he was okay. His attitude was okay. I am scraping the barrel here, by the way.
Let's not forget that goal he scored at Derby County.
I know, and
Thanks, Dan.
he
Whitten, for that one.
pointed at his hamstring as a celebration.
He did, or he's pulsing leg. Yeah.
Just to show how strong he is. Yeah. No, I liked him. I had a bit of a soft spot for him. I don't know why. I just did. But yeah, and then Cisse number 1 because you know,
Cisse. So Laura, I think it's only right and proper that I will let you take the floor with Kennedy. I know the second spell that he had at the start of the 18-19 season was horrendous, but that little January to May was just something special, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just loved going to St. James's and seeing him. Like, I've totally forgot all footballing reasons. He was just me number 4 because he's beautiful.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry.
No, I agree. There was, and I'm sure. Did you not have a picture of him with his shirt? Like, you uploaded a picture of him with his shirt off or something at some point into the WhatsApp group? Yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
Right. But so, in my defence, this week, me, Jess, and Shell have done none of that, and all the lads have been sharing topless photos of Carlos. So it's not just the women.
That is true. Notice I didn't objectify Carlos because
no, you didn't. It was Mark Walker. It was him. I'm gonna shoot him.
Can't blame him. I mean, have you seen him? Like...
I agree.
I mean, God, you could grate cheese on that body, couldn't you? Really? Okay, so we've done Kennedy. Well, metaphorically speaking, Laura. So we both had Debussy at 5. Laura, Debussy for you.
Just
same
reminds
as we said before.
Yeah, just reminds us of that good spell that we had when we signed all those players, and I just again, it was more of a case of just slotting him in because he wasn't like right up there. He wasn't, so he was just 5, just in the middle.
Laura, you forgot about him and then you put him as number 5, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Well, actually, can I
just... You are absolutely on fire tonight, like, aren't you?
No, just a quick question. Did you start at the bottom and work your way up, or did you start at number 1 and work your way down?
I went 10 and down.
Yeah, so did I. And I think that's just where I went to.
Yeah. Just a quick one, just before we carry on with this. Razaz joined us from his desktop. I think he's doing some overtime. I think tonight.
He had a bit of a mare with a keyboard on his name. Like, why is it like? Blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, he's got.
Has he just added random letters?
Yeah, he's got finger issues.
That's his work name.
That's his work ID. No, he's got his Britney Spears. He FaceTimes us sometimes, and he's got the full Britney Spears thing going on. But yeah. So as a few people, Kennedy was the forerunner for Joe Willock. Kennedy, he was destroyed in one game. Never recovered from that Cardiff game. Yeah, no. It was upsetting.
Don't remind us of that.
Did he try and Penenga it?
He did something and he completely messed it up.
Just stop.
Ruled it, didn't he? Ruled it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laura, so we went to Bushy. Let's talk about Joe Willock, because me and you, Laura, we've got him at 3. Mm-hmm. Graham, you've got him at 4. Graham, was it purely based on the fact that he saved our season last year when he came in?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really base it off this season because he'd be probably number 10. Last season he was immense. Don't know what's happened to him, so maybe he's got Kennedy-itis. I don't know.
Yeah. Laura, Joe Willock.
Yeah,
I mean,
I literally just
when he came in, wasn't he?
Yeah. Next to it, I just wrote 3 words: kept us up. So that was
and the fact that at the time when we got him there, he was on loan. We probably paid a very nominal loan fee. We didn't pay 25 million for him. So just really briefly on him, Graham, is the die cast for you for Joe Willock, or do you think that there is a possibility that is he developing as a player? Is he adjusting to the way that?
I think he looks a bit lost.
Like, what's his position? You mean, like, is he?
Yeah, I think he'd benefit from a number 10 role, more freer role. But when we took him on loan, he had a point to prove. He needed to prove to Arsenal and Arteta that he was good enough to be in that side, and now he's here. I think he's just lost his way a bit.
Yeah,
he'll come good though.
Yeah, I still do think like a lot of people. There is a player in there. There is definitely a player in there. I don't think you just become shite overnight.
No.
You know, I think he had he's suffering maybe from the start of the season, and he's not up to speed, and he's joined us late, and then change of manager, and
but then just to be devil's advocate, because I do like him and I do agree, but then how long are you going to give him to say, oh, it's January now? Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I think I just feel like there is a player there.
I do as well. It was just I take
your point. I think it is a good point, and I think a lot of people ask that question on a daily basis with Joe Willock. But yeah, and he seems like a dead canny bear.
Which so does Miggy, but he's at number 9.
That doesn't go a long way, right? So and we've all got we're just going to scoot past Gouffran at number 2 for Graham. Our top 2. I think Graham's top 2 if he'd had time. To be fair to Graham, we did land this on him very last minute, so I do apologise. So Dubravka, I know he's had a bit of a dip more recently, but at 3 million, did we pay for him 3.5 million?
Yeah,
great value. Graham,
when he first joined, like those first few seasons, he was just phenomenal. Obviously, he's sort of gone down in my estimations a bit the last little while, but when we first got him, he was superb, and he probably saved our season a couple of times as well. So,
yeah, Laura,
yeah, just to echo that, like obviously, I'm looking at it overall. I'm trying to ignore the past few games because I agree he hasn't been the same since he came back from his injury, but he has been overall a good servant for like that little amount of money. Really, he has. Yeah. He's a brilliant shot stopper, which is hard to say. And yeah, he's made some fantastic saves and kept us in a lot of games. And I just always remember his debut. It's like, wow.
Yeah,
it was incredible. That was an incredible moment, incredible game. With Dubravka, he's playing in front of one of the, well, we'll excuse Trippier possibly from this, but one of the worst selections of back fours that we've had for a long time, and I think the inconsistency of back four is definitely got to contribute to your goalkeepers. I think we suffered at the start of the season because the back four weren't sure about whether Darlow, Dubravka's usually decisive. He usually, if he's going to come, he comes. But with Darlow, I think our back four suffered because Darlow was quite indecisive at times. But now I think Dubravka's suffering because our back four are like all over the shop most of the time. So maybe there's a little bit of that. And I mean, we're desperate for a clean sheet. I think I would honestly take an outs each tomorrow.
Yeah, I heard Chris say that last night as well.
Just to say that we've had a clean sheet. We've stopped the rot. I know.
I'm not sure about that, like, because it's still a draw, isn't it? Nah, not for me.
All right, a 1-0 then we'll take.
Yeah.
There we go. I think Fred raises a good point, which kind of echoes what you've said already about he cost 3 million, and he's saved a lot of points. He's probably lost us. So, I remember questioning why we were signing a new goalkeeper when we had Darlow and Elliott. What an idiot I was. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I think a lot of people like, and the fact that he came straight into the team was, and he still had his Sparta Prague gloves on, if you remember.
Yeah.
And he crudely marker penned them out and drew like a couple of I wouldn't have said unicorns there. Is that the new bag? I've said it all tonight, haven't I? Unicorns, I'll not mention the M word, but there we go. So moving swiftly on to the comments. Thank you. Defense been terrible, but something off about Dubravka since he's come back. He's not the keeper he was. Possibly, maybe he dropped a few clangers in the Euros, or was it the Euros or the World Cups? He did drop a massive clanger there and then picked up a really bad injury. So maybe that's affected his confidence. Marty, decent keeper, playing behind a dreadful defence. So, and it just gets worse. A woefully inadequate midfield. No way. I think that's the thing. The confidence amongst the team must be pretty low. Right. So all of us had it number one. I think you could have, as soon as you saw the list, I think there was only one answer that was going to be at number one. Papis Demba Cisse. Now, what a signing from Freiburg. 9 million, I think he was. Let's have a look. No, 9.8 million, I think it was. £10 million. Laura, great signing.
Brilliant signing.
Just he's a little bit possibly Pardew, but great signing. Laura, what are your sort of main memories of Cisse?
Well, this is gonna contradict where I've put him because I put him number one. But the first word that comes to mind when I think of Cisse is offside. But but apart from that, like just the goals were just unreal. Like just you knew, well, you hoped and you knew and you expected every time he played, well, we're going to get goals, which is, I wish it was like that now, but it's not. But you just expected goals whenever he played.
I mean, talk about hit the ground running, like I think he scored like 12 goals off the belt, maybe possibly or something. It was just like, it was insane. And everybody's got their favourite goal, but Graham, in that little glut of games, what was your sort of Cisse moment? What was your favourite Cisse goal?
My favourite, everyone goes to the Chelsea ones, but my favourite was the chip against Swansea because he was on his way down and I have no idea how he did that.
Absolutely unreal. I'm just going to plug me Mac in because my battery's about to die. Talk amongst yourselves, children. Laura, what was your favourite Cisse goal while I plug this in?
Graham was like rolled his eyes and was like, everybody goes to the Chelsea one. that is what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna go to the Chelsea goal.
What are you gonna do about it?
Soz. No, don't invite us back on again. It's fine.
No, that's fine. That I mean, the Swansea goal for me, it was like the fadeaway. It was like, how did he score? Like, he like, I don't know. Like, it was like he just kind of poked it, and it kind of just like the backspin on him must have brought it down. Like, he's just hit it in a way that he could probably never hit that ball again. With the Chelsea one, I think a volley can go in the top. Like he could probably hit that ball again and probably score in a similar area. But I feel like that Swansea one, it was just like a totally unique hit.
I'm sure. Like for that Chelsea one, I'm sure he did an interview and he said it. Like he was just tired and he just wanted to kick it out. Yeah,
a bit like when I know it's slightly off topic, but that Liverpool one that Gerrard scored against West Ham near the end of the FA Cup final, and he obviously knackered, and he just absolutely lashed it. A big shout out as well for Dan. Yes, the goal against Given. But if you remember that game, he came on as substitute, and in Germany they warm up behind the goal. And when he came out to warm up, remember he was warming up behind the goal. All the fans were like, "What are you doing? Oh, buddy lad, what are you doing, man? Get doing!" And then
I would never remember that.
Pardew had to send somebody out to go and get him and like tell him like, "Oh man, you warm up down the side." Oh yeah, man, Bonnie lad. Like, but it was. I mean, that was a great goal against Shea Given. Like, but my favourite's probably that. It is that Swansea goal, just purely because Albert Einstein couldn't work out how did he get the ball in the goal from that angle. It was just like absolutely unreal. Absolutely. I think Eric against the Swans, it was just, he was speechless. So I think that's probably as good a way of any to describe it. Absolutely speechless. Right. So our comprehensive list, our top 10. Thank you to those people who contributed as well and had a go at their top 10s. And thank you for those people who added me on Twitter as well to give some of their opinions on who they were. Sorry if I can't remember all your names, but I did appreciate it. That was really good. I think we'll wind up with big game tomorrow against Leeds United. Started the season in a similar vein to us, really. I mean, they were very unlike the Leeds United of last season, possibly suffering from that cliched second season syndrome back in the Premier League where teams have maybe worked them out. They've had a few injuries. Calvin Phillips is injured, and I just heard today that Patrick Bamford isn't available. But obviously they do have Rafinha, who's a very dangerous player, and the lad that signed from Man United, whose name completely escapes me.
Dan James.
Dan James. Got to love a player with 2 first names, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? Laura, your favourite player with 2 first names?
Dan James.
There we go. Right, so... I don't know, I kind of think. I couldn't think of any other ones. Robert Lee.
Oh,
Les Ferdinand.
Not sure you can get away with that one.
Suppose these days they're like, you know, I've taught kids called Keegan, so Kevin Keegan, you know. Anyway,
that's true.
And I managed to get Kevin Keegan's name into the podcast.
Well, hey.
Right. So yes, anyway, back in the world of the living. And speaking of Leeds, actually Kevin Keegan, that's why he did his little meltdown, didn't he? So
yeah.
Precious memories. Anyway.
And Norwich are winning, so yay.
Oh, brilliant.
Is that good? I don't even know anymore.
Oh yeah, that was sarcasm. Come on.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's good for us.
Yeah,
Jesus.
So,
yeah. Right. So a Leeds game, Laura.
Yes.
I know you're in a bit of a relegation depression, a bit of a relegation mire, and you're not very hopeful. But what do you reckon for tomorrow?
I'm so torn whether to tell the truth or like be optimistic.
Just follow your heart. What would Natalie and Bruglia do?
Should be torn.
Exactly.
I think you should be optimistic because I'm going to tell the truth.
Right. Okay, then I'll go optimistic, and I'm going to say
been dropping truth bombs all night. You know what I mean? So
yes, he has. I'm going to go with 1-0 then.
You're going to go 1-0.
Oh no, you sound so sad about that. So can you please tell the truth?
1-0 Newcastle, Laura, or 1-0 Leeds?
Well, Graham said I had to be optimistic, so I was going 1-0 Newcastle. But the truth is, I think they'll just attack us because they know our defense is so poor at. Yeah. But yeah, I hope Wood gets his first goal against his old club.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be good. I think we did isolate him towards the end of the game last week.
Whole second half.
Yeah, it was not great. I think it was an incredibly nervous performance, and that was a difficult game to watch.
And I think as well, it got touched on the lads podcast and other podcasts as well, but the crowd were nervous. I've never seen the crowd since the takeover that tense. So hopefully with it being away, I'm going to be optimistic. That might help that it's away because
you'll have those 150 point away ticket point mags.
Yeah.
So proper hardcore.
Well,
so
unless you follow the advice on Twitter and Facebook and just don't buy a ticket.
Oh yeah. Let's not encourage that type of behaviour, though, Laura. You're supposed to maintain decorum on this show. Yeah, you know what I mean. We're the ones who are the little skip rat ragies, right? Graham, drop some truth bombs on us, and then I'm going to try and bring us back up. Go on.
Okay. Well, there's a whole disconnect throughout the entire side. There's no sort of flow between defence and midfield, and then midfield to attack. There's just nothing there. There might as well not be a midfield or a defence, and we just have Chris Wood and ASM and Trippier, and then Dubravka in goal. That'll be it.
Wow, I didn't think it was going to be that depressing.
It is. I mean, but come on, though. Where is our midfield? There's nothing there in the middle of the park, and that's where games are won and lost pretty much all the time. We don't dominate anyone. You can see what
from the fact that Calvin Phillips isn't available. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know who their midfielders are, but
Leeds
he's a massive miss.
Leeds have had like an awful time with COVID and injuries, and they've had like 16 or 17-year-olds on the bench or whatever, or even in the starting 11. But I think they've done really well to sort of get out of the mire that they were in. I just don't see us getting anything tomorrow. I'm afraid. Yeah. Soz.
No, we need,
Gotta be honest.
Every coin has two sides, Graham. Every coin. So there we go. I'm gonna follow Dave Eddie. Come on, Davey. So Davey's going 2-1 to the Tyne. I'm going 2-1 to the Tyne. I would be happily if, like Fred, if we shithouse a 1-1. You know, we hadn't shithoused the game for a long time, so
No.
you know, so yeah. Just really quickly, just before we finish, we've talked about Wood being a bit isolated. We haven't really touched on Trippier. Just really quickly, Laura, in a few, Laura, your impressions of Trippier so far?
Well, I wasn't at the Cambridge game, so I didn't see his full debut, but I seen his Premier League debut and just dead impressed. Like, he's just telling people what to do, organisation. Like, there's a big debate about the captaincy, and my dad's a very much believer if you don't even need the captain band to be a captain. Like, he is, like, telling people what to do. He's got a winning mentality, and you can just tell he's, like, better than anyone else. And, I was impressed on Saturday.
Graham?
In class. I mean, the difference between, like, in quality between him and the rest of the squad is just, it's frightening. It's frightening, really. So, but he's great, and he'll be really good in the Championship next year. Woo!
Yeah, he's been mint. I just can't wait for him. He's going to score a free kick tomorrow. Yes, him and Wood. Free kick from him. And actually, I do see a little burgeoning, and we haven't got a lot of partnerships in that team. I do see a little burgeoning partnership between the wee man and between him and Trippier. I think Fraser and Trippier look like they link up quite well, and I think we suffer a lot from not having partnerships. If you look back at probably our last good team under Pardew, where we had Tiote and Cabai in midfield, really good partnership. We had Enrique and Jonas, so we did have partnerships, and historically we've had good partnerships. Beresford and Ginola, those Shiraf, like we've had partnerships where the players understand each other, and I think we haven't had players who've played consistently with each other to build up that understanding. So hopefully, I really hope Fraser gets an extended run in the team and Trippier stays fit, because I think that could be a real source of danger for us attacking wise. So anyway, that's my 2 pennies worth. But Stu is bringing up the biggest one. We've got Wood versus Cock tomorrow. So I think, Stu, there's not really a better place to finish there. Everybody look forward to watching a bit of Wood bashing up a bit against a bit of Cock tomorrow. And hopefully we come out on top. I've done it with dear, like.
Dear.
You're back in the room. Right. Okay, so I think we'll finish there. Thank you so much. Oh, big shout out to Hatton Ben Arthur, maintaining his career, going to Lille as well. I know a lot of people have commented there. Somebody actually said that was their favourite player with 2 first names, Ben and Arthur. So,
of course.
So there we go. Right. So, Graham, really appreciate you joining us tonight. Good to see you again. Good to see you looking well and being extremely positive about Newcastle United.
Yeah, no worries. Anytime, I'll bring his all down anytime.
Really good to see you. So check out Graham on the Anyone's Game podcast and your book, which you're working on currently. So that'll be coming out soon. So stay alert on the socials for that one. Laura, I thought I'd slip in the out. Stay alert for you. I know it's been a while. Stay alert, guys.
Yes.
And Laura, thank you. Really good to see you again. We're a little bit worried.
It's good to be back.
Lost you to your scouting mission up Helvellyn, but luckily you've come back and you haven't brought any Welshmen with you, which is always a good sign. So thank you to everybody who's joined us. Sorry if I didn't get through all your comments. Thank you to those people who watched live, and of course those people who watch later on the toilet or on the bus or wherever else. I don't know where else you catch your podcast. Chris may put this on the audio as well, so we could be in your ears within the next 24 to 48 hours. What an absolute joy. Thank you to everybody. Big game tomorrow. How many days left of the transfer window? 10 days left of the transfer window. Massive, massive things going on. Loads of content going on. Catch up on Over the Wall with Chris and Ryan Taylor. Catch up with, if you haven't already watched, Chris's and Matty chatting with Keith from Sky Sports News. That was a really, really interesting, podcast. Really, really insightful about the inside track on what, where Graham gets his sources from, how he decides whether he's going to develop a story, and then obviously the story behind what got him into journalism, what brought him to the Northeast. And I didn't know he was a Heart of Midlothian fan as well. So there we go. A fan of the Jambos. So thank you to everyone for joining us. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Everybody wave. And we'll say ta-ra. See you later, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
And have a really good weekend. And let's hope for 3 points. Take care.